All right, this is our composite area lesson. You guys are really good at composite area, so I know this will be an easy one for you. But here we have the surface area of a desk composed of 2 rectangles and a triangle. You guys have seen this before, but it's the triangle that we get stuck on because we always forget to divide by 2. And we need to find this top surface of the desk. So the area in square feet. First, I'm going to find my rectangles. So base times height, so 2.5 times 1.5. And I make sure I have 5 times 5 is 25, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. And then good thing I get to multiply by 1 second. And I made sure to drop down my 0. Now the big thing with multiplying decimals is that we don't necessarily have to line them up. In this case they did. But we need to move the decimal, not necessarily line up the decimal. So I have 2 digits to the right of the decimal. So I'm going to move my decimal back in 1, 2 spots. So I have 3.75 for the area of the rectangle. I have a second rectangle right here with the same dimensions. Now for the triangle, if this is 1.5, this is also 1.5, and then same here, 1.5 by 1.5. I'm going to multiply 1/2 base times height for a triangle. So base times height, 1.5 times 1.5, and I get 225, but I need to move my decimal back in because that would make no sense to have 225 feet when we're dealing with a 1.5 foot by 1.5 foot. But 2.25 makes more sense. But this is the big thing that we forget. I need to divide the triangle in half. Triangles are always going to be just half of a rectangle. So take your 2.25 and divide by 2. So we're going to go ahead and 2 goes into 5 4 times. Wait, let me make sure I did this right. 2 goes into 2 1 time. 2 goes into 2 1 time. 2 goes into 5 2 times. There we go. And then I subtract, bring down a 0, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. So 1.2125. And it looks like they maybe rounded off these. Let's see. Let's go ahead and add up all our pieces. So we have 3.75, 3.75, and 1.125. Now that I'm adding, I'm lining up my decimals. And I made sure to divide the triangle in half because I think about half of you ended up picking F on this problem because that would be the answer without the triangle divided in half. And I'm going to add them all up. We have 14, 15, 16, carry the 1, 6, 7, 8, and I have 8.625 or 8 and 625 thousandths. This is the correct answer, not F. All right. Next one. Here we have a figure shown that was created by placing vertices of a square, so meaning the points of the square, using a ruler. Use the ruler provided to measure the dimensions of the square and the circle to the nearest centimeter. So we want to make sure we know what units they're asking us to use, because sometimes they'll use inches, and sometimes they're going to use centimeters. So let's make sure we're on the centimeter side of our ruler. I'm going to get the diameter of my circle is 8 centimeters. And then the length of my square, which is approximately, and it says closest to the area shaded region in centimeters. Okay, so it looks like whole centimeters. So I'm going to round this to 5 centimeters. Okay, so 5 by 5. Whenever I have circles, I know that diameter is 8, radius is half the diameter, and for area, I need to square the radius, or 4 times 4. So the radius squared is 16. And they said closest, so I would just recommend doing 3 for pi, not 3.14. 16 times 3. We have 24, carry the 2. And we have 54 square centimeters for the area. Oh, yeah. Good catch. 3 times 6 is 18. I make mistakes pretty often. 3 times 4 is 24, but 3 times 6 is 18. And then 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. So we have 48 square centimeters for the whole circle. The area of the square is going to be 5 times 5, or 25. But if it says shaded region, I'm not going to take a square and put it onto a circle. I'm not like adding these areas together. It's not going to become a bigger shape. I'm actually taking that circle and I'm cutting out, like the lantern projects, the square from the inside. So I need to subtract the 2 areas, not add. I'm going to take the circle and I'm going to subtract out the square. So I'm going to take the 48 and subtract the 25. Sometimes we accidentally add, and that will definitely be an answer choice, is the adding. So I get 23 after I take away the square, 23 square centimeters. All right, that concludes this lesson. Nice job, guys.